So what does Jay-Z, 50 Cent, Elon Musk, Oprah Winfrey, Jeff Bezos, Steve Jobs, and Bill Gates have in common? They all know how to calm their brain waves in the midst of noise. They all know how to access their alpha brain. According to neuroscientists, there are 5 brainwave frequencies that we can access to become optimal performing humans. The first one is gamma brainwaves. The second one is beta brainwaves. Third is alpha. Fourth is theta, and fifth is delta. The unique thing about all of this is that we only understand and have been educated on how to access beta brain waves. The default brain wave is delta, and that is when we are in deep sleep. Now, here's the thing. Brain waves are measured in hertz per second. As you can see, the bars or the frequencies that's vertically across the screen, the gamma brain wave frequency moves faster than the rest. And as we go from top to bottom, they get slower, slower, and slower until we get to the data brainwave frequency, which is 0.5 to 4 hertz per second. The thing about all of these is that we should be able to access all 5 of them when we choose to, for specific things that we need in this world. Let me explain. So gamma brainwave frequency focus on it's a hyper fast frequency. When you're talking to people and they can conceptualize things really fast. It doesn't take them to, they have strong mental models that they've developed over time, such as Einstein, such as the name of the people that I mentioned earlier, such as Michael Jordan, LeBron James, Steph Curry, and so forth. They can access information and process it fast to respond to you. They can decode and encode information really fast, even if it's the first time they hear that information. They understand synchronicity, not truly understanding, but they live in that experience, right? And let me give you an example of synchronicity. Once I was in a restaurant and the waiter brought out the ticket. Before looking at the ticket, I said that the exact amount of that ticket, it was my first time going to that restaurant, but for some reason, I just knew how much the actual ticket was. And when the ticket was flipped over, it was the exact amount to the exact cent. And when I say cent, I mean in penny cent. All of us have experienced synchronicity. And it's something that we can't define through empirical data, such as scientific mathematical constructs. It's things that bend the law of the natural law in reality. But things happen, such as running into someone at an odd place in a different country that you would never expect to run into that person, and then talking with that person, and they tell you that they had dreamed of running into you at that location. That is synchronicity, higher level of vibration and thinking. The beta brainwave is more of the alert concentration brainwave. It's the active brainwave. It's the brainwave that we use in our educational system to teach, right? A child who's in a classroom who has the highest level of attention and concentration and understand how to manage his or her time becomes some of the high-performing students. A child with low attention or attention deficit tends to be the opposite, become a lower performing student. Everything in our educational system is designed around the beta frequency. As we go down to alpha, it is more meditative and where creativity and relaxation is, or daydreaming. In a classroom setting, if a child drifts into daydreaming often, they tend to miss information that's communicated in the class and become lower performers because of that. What we do as educators is try to get the child to concentrate more and be more attentive. But what we don't know is that the alpha frequency is the frequency where creativity lives. And a lot of our musicians and our innovators understand how to access the alpha brainwave frequency. But then we go to theta, more drowsy, more of a trance state frequency, where we can actually visualize things that can become reality. And that's close to a dreaming state, right? It's right before going to sleep, which segues into the delta brainwave frequency. It's more of a deep sleep, transcendence, space, or restoration. So what does that mean? This is the one that we access by default, as well as theta. As we get tired, we go from gamma, beta, alpha, theta, and delta. Most of us are not even in the gamma space. So we may go from beta, alpha, theta, and delta is our drowsier state. As you can see, the frequencies, they get wider and wider and wider. If we take information to bed with us, that's complex information that we can't solve while we are awake. What happens is, in our sleep, in this restoration phase of our experience, our brains begin to try to figure out what those problems are and provide a response to it. So when we wake up in the morning, if we don't get distracted by grabbing the phone and forcing our brainwave frequencies to go from delta and skip theta, alpha, and go directly to beta, the more active brain, then we can't capture the messages or the information or the content that was that derived from our dreams. So the reverse of all of this is coming out of our sleep. We go from delta, theta, alpha, beta, and then gamma. Okay. So as we wake up in the morning, we wake up in a drowsy state, theta. We move to an alpha state, and then we go to a beta state. And the beta state is the state that we exist in throughout the day. As we're driving in our cars, as we're talking on the phone, we are in the active, attentive state. As we meet people, as we network with people, as we experience lectures in a college room, until our brains begin to get tired and we drift into daydream or alpha, and then theta as we get really, really drowsy. But the thing about it is, how do we access alpha? How do we live in a space where Oprah lives in? How do we live in a space where Tyler Perry, I missed him initially, Tyler Perry or 50 Cent, or Jay-Z, or Jeff Bezos, and Elon Musk? How do we live in that space? We live in a space by training our brain to function in an alpha state. And some things that we can do is mindfulness meditation, deep meditation, and being able to access those neurotransmitters, knowing how to cause those neurotransmitters in our brain to spark when we need them to. The thing about it is that we have been taught all of our life and through our experience to access the beta brain. We are beta brain creatures on Earth. The only thing that measures success for us is from the active brain. When we take an exam, we're testing the beta brain, right? When we engage in sports, we're engaging in the beta brain. So we have a lot of experience and a lot of education on how to access it, even if we're accessing it unconsciously or consciously, right? What we need to learn how to do is access the alpha brainwave to slow our brains down in the midst of all the noise and concentrate, not unconsciously, consciously concentrate and push forward the alpha brain. If you want to bend reality, you must be able to access the alpha brain. There is nothing wrong with the beta brain, but it's more of a, just like I said, with the delta brain, it's more of a default brain. We're taught how to do this all of our lives. And we effectively advance new concepts, business practices. We lead organizations and companies using the beta brain. That if you truly want to change your world, your dynamics, and become as big as some of the bigger people who live in this particular space, you must learn how to master your alpha brain. To the left, I have my book, Making the Brain Perform. In the middle, this is the SenseBand 2. Neurotechnology is designed to read brainwave frequencies so that you can understand which frequency you're in. This is associated with a tablet so that we can actually see the brainwave frequencies, as well as a video game application called Memory. Based on an assessment, you are assigned specific games to play to enhance certain parts of your brain, such as the prefrontal, the working memory, or the temporal, the short-term and long-term memory. I am a NeuroFit certified practitioner that can walk you through all of the application of the SenseBand technology to increase your peak performance as a human being, so you can start accessing the alpha brain. Peace.